Hey, it's BT the BT British GP review. Let's get right to it. The rest of the world is in global warming, literally. And apparently the UK never got the memo. There were people there from Seattle going, this is so depressing. I wish I was back in Seattle listening to Jimi Hendrix and Pearl Jam. Good racing, though, and that's why we were there. Great racing, great people. Let's get right to it. I'm going to get this out of the way. Right of the race, Moto3. Holy shit. David Alonso coming from last place. Holy shit. Last place to first place. The first Colombian to get first place. I'm sure they had a Colombian hangover the next day after that one, and I'm gonna leave it there. Heartbreak had to go to Scott Ogden, front row in his home country GP. It happens, but he was like a G. He did what he had to do, and good for him. He never gave up. I love Scott Ogden. That kid is gonna be something. Bad for him. It's a heartbreak, and I was gonna give it to Jamie Massia, but still, I got to give it to Scott Ogden. Still, great job by those guys. But David Alonso, last place, the first. What does he do during qualifying? I mean, does he have homework? Does he get grounded? I mean, you're in last place and you go to first place. Imagine if you were in first place. Alonso, imagine if you qualified on the first two rows. It's over for the rest of the field. Why don't you try on Saturday and make your Sunday easier? I guess the kid likes a challenge. Anyway, good for him. Proud of him. First Colombian to get a point in the world champ, to win in the world championship. So great for David Alonso. That kid's going to be great when he learns to qualify. Kids, what are you going to do? Moto2, let me say something. Moto2, I just found out Pedro Acosta was injured. That's why he didn't seem like the old Pedro. I didn't know about it until after the race, and it all made sense. But anyway, so route of the race in Moto2 has to go to Furman Aldeguer. That kid showed why they were talking about MotoGP for him last year, and then it didn't really work out to the end of the season. I don't know what happened, but anyway, great job by him. If he's healthy and Acosta's healthy, ooh, that's gonna be some good racing. Moto2 can be some good racing when it wants to be. Heartbreak in Moto2 had to go to Jake Dixon. Jake Dixon home race. He crashes out. I know he wanted to blame Darren Bender. He wanted to go after Darren Bender. And I was like, Jake, you better sit your vegan ass down. You only weigh like 97 pounds as a grown ass man who's 6 feet tall. Let it go, Jake. Let it go. Take care of your baby. It happens, man. It's racing. You were on the outside. Bender had to go somewhere. I mean, it happens. You're still in it, bro. You're in third place. It's all right. But I can understand him being mad, but I love that they were trying to hold him back. It's like, come on, man. A good gust of wind, and Dixon's gone. MotoGP, ride the race, MotoGP. I wanted to go Miguel Oliveira for what he's been through and how he came up through the field and how he passed for being like, who the fuck is this guy? Great job by Oliveira. I wanted to give it to him, but I kind of got to give it to Lacer Spargo, starting 12th on the grid. I really thought he was just going to have one of them races, but Lacer Spargo got it together and last lap pass on one of the best. We don't give Pecco, we don't give Pecco Bagnaia the credit he deserves. The guy is a great racer. We just every other storyline is about anything but him. And he deserves his accolades. Great job by Pecco. I mean, heartbreak goes to Bezzecchi. Bezzecchi did the damn thing. He really did. But, I mean, he's trying to keep up. He just got offline. But this is what makes champions. He learns from that mistake. He comes back. But heartbreak has to go to Bezzecchi. MVP of the whole race weekend, I'm going to have to give it to David Alonso, starting last place in Moto3. What they're going to do in Moto3 with Holgado has a lead where the rest of the field is going to have to basically get together and say, listen, anybody but him. And that's what it's going to be. They're going to have to block him, maybe do some tactics that aren't really, they're not really illegal, but, you know what I mean? It's kind of like when you check somebody in basketball and you hit them in the balls and they go, hey, man, you go, well, I didn't say anything about that in the rule book. So that's what they're going to have to do to stock him. David Algado's another guy who doesn't get the credit he deserves in Moto3. Watch out for that kid. Sasaki is on him. If he has a bad weekend, Sasaki can capitalize, man. That's why Jamie Massia, that's how it was. I was going to give him the heartbreak, but has to go to Scott Ogden. But still, he missed out on a great opportunity. But still, I think he's third in points. So watch out for Moto3. The storylines to me of the whole weekend, I don't know why. I was focused on Marc Marquez. And it's just really hard to watch Marquez and Fabio, for that matter, for what they're going through. But Marquez the most because, it's almost like he was just riding around and he was happy with it, even though his explanation was, he let Mir pass him so he could study the characteristics of the Honda. But it was just hard to watch. It was like watching if Mike Tyson had found the Lord, back in 1986, and he was all Jesused up, but he started losing fights, but he was happy in his personal life. It'd be hard to watch. It's like, I'm just happy. I feel so much happy. The Lord's in my heart, and I feel good every day, and I'm just happy Jesus is in my heart. But he loses fights, and you're like, this is hard to watch. You know what I mean? It's like having to lose a fight to, like, I don't know, some dude from a bar, to Jason Aldean, and they're arguing over, try that in a small town. Like, Mike Tyson got beat up by Jason Aldean? Dang. Anyway, it's hard to watch Marquez, but let me tell you something, man. He still says the right things, and I hope he does get it sorted out. But that was hard to watch, Marquez in the back. As Bill Duke said in Predator, there ain't no way for a soldier to die. There ain't no way for an 8-time champion to be in the back. And by the way, how they're not talking about Marquez getting a seat with other teams, you must be out your damn mind. I don't care. The young talent coming up is good. I'll give you that. But to not want an 8-time world champion, give me a break. Marc Marquez is still one of the best. You get him on a good bike. Anyway, another storyline I want to get up. Also, how great the sprint race. The sprint race is giving life to a lot of racers and get their hopes up. Like Alex Marquez and Maverick Vinales, to me, stole the weekend as far as them being happy, seeing that smile on both of their faces. The sprint race is one of the best things Motogp has ever done. One of the worst is the new website. Jesus Christ, that new website is so bad I almost chunked my computer out the plane window as I landed in America. Anyway. On the sprint weekend, great. Good to see Alex Marquez on the top step of the podium. I knew he could win a race. God bless. And Maverick to be happy, and that happiness crossed over to the weekend. I thought the MotoGP was actually, I think, the best racing of all categories. We always say that about MotoGP, and Moto3 really steals the show. But this time, I think it was MotoGP. What Miguel Oliveira and Maverick, to an extent, and Brad Binder finally showed up on a Sunday, even though he's Sunday Brad. And Aleix Espargaro taking out Pecco, who catches Pecco from behind. Damn. So I thought that was a great racing. MotoGP really showed up this weekend. Great race. The weather was shitty, but I don't know why, but I think that makes those guys more focused, and they were on it. And I just thought it was a great racing. And I love how, I didn't say anything to him, but I love how Frankie kind of gave it to Yamaha. I think he finished ahead of Fabio, and even though he did have a crash, he's right behind Fabio in the standing. So the pieces are falling with KTM. I don't know what they're going to do with Pedro, Fernando Augusta, and Paul Espargaro. But like I said, it's a good problem to have, but figure it out. Get a Husqvarna team, like my friend John Robinson said. Get a Husqvarna team. I mean, put Marquez and Pedro Acosta on the same team. Damn, it's all about storylines anyway. How great would that be if everybody focused on those two, like the new king, the new would-be king, and the old king together on the same team? Damn, it gets me excited just talking about it. So they need to figure out something, but it's a good problem to have. I really think no matter what happens, I think Zarco's going to be gone, but I think he'll go to LCR Honda and struggle with them for a year, unless they go to KTM. But we'll see what happens there. But anyway, I think Zarco's gone. Zarco does a great job, but he didn't get the top step of the podium. And for some reason, they just want that youth movement. And nothing wrong with it. But, I mean, I just don't feel like, I like what Bezecchi's doing. Good for him. I like the young guns, but I just don't think that they're there yet. Like, a Marquez still has a lot to give. And I don't know, man. It's tough. But I still got to say that I think Marquez needs to get maybe another ride. He's going to stay with Honda. He and Luco are almost faithful to a point. I mean, to a detriment to themselves. And Marquez only has maybe another 2 to 3 years where like he'll be competitive enough to win over these young guns. These young guns are coming hard. I think Pedro Acosta. God damn, it's Pedro. He's going to be so hard to stop these young guns coming up. Pecco's still he's not even in his prime yet. Bezecchi. I think when Luca gets it, he's going to get it. You got Jorge Martin, who's second place now, looking good. So I think Marquez has maybe another 2 to 3 years before it's just going to be too hard to fight off these young guns week after week and be consistent. Overall, I thought it was a great GP. I mean, a great GP. Shout out to Jake Dixon for doing a damn thing, but he ended up in a gravel trap in both races. But damn. Good racing. I give this GP an A minus. Great racing all the way around. Maybe an A plus, except for the weather. The weather has to bring it down. So the weather is an A minus. Great racing. MVP goes to David Alonso. Learn how to qualify, young man, and you'll be on the top step of podium again. And it'll be a little bit easier. Anyway, great racing. Like I said, the storylines were Holgado in Moto 3. He didn't get the credit he deserves. Pecco didn't get the credit he deserves. But shout out to Paul Espargo. He's literally down. He's got 107 points. He's literally down 107 points to Pecco, but anything can happen. 11 more races to go. We got a brand new track in India coming up. Who knows what happens there? MotoGP's just getting greater. Sorry, it took so long to post, but anyway, I'm back. It was a great time. Got a chance to meet Marc Marquez again. I love the guy. I really do. My highlight was talking to Frankie as he was coming down the steps, and I did a Bane impersonation of him. From Batman, and he goes, "That was good, but you overacted just a little bit." I thought that was funny. Anyway, great time. Thanks for watching. Anyway, until the next race, you know the word. Peace.